Alright, here we are, guys. Back for another guide. You can see with what we're up against here. This is a relatively common wind here for this. We've had this at least one other tournament where this hole's been featured, and you'll see typically the strategy that I'll try to do is something very similar to this. Just kind of aim over. And what's nice is you end up pointing to higher ground. And let's see if that comes back. It looks like it just came back. So a lot of times what you'll be able to do with a wind like this is you'll be able to take off the topspin a little bit. So what I'm thinking something power 4. Dead ball is always a good option, especially for the second shot. Similarly, if you have something that's like a snowman ball, shell ball, something in that effect, it can also be good. You'll see that I kind of prioritize side spin as opposed to top spin. We really won't need too much of the top spin. But if I want to land around here, I'm thinking at least 10 rings. You'll see kind of where I'm aiming. And the goal here is after I catch the fairway with that little bit of less topspin, it'll just kind of roll down here. And, it is going to be kind of wind specific. So you can see that my ball didn't quite land quite nearly as long as my opponents did. You'll have to pay very close attention. It did seem like my wind needle was pointed a little bit more right, which means that it was going to be, kind of a shorter wind. And, I could have, in that case, gone just a little bit extra on the top spin. If it's going to land short like that, we can use 4 bars. Landing kind of up where my opponent did just to be safe, it'd be better to have 3 bars. His ball, if he would have had my spin on, it may have cut back, much harder and maybe not just barely caught the fairway there. So keep all that in mind, but you'll see, those options are going to be kind of like the minimum requirement that you can do. And all we need to be able to do is put it up here on this fairway. As you can see, I made it to be able to get up there. Now, what you'll see that I try to do is offset this ball guide. Thinking somewhere around here. Maybe something like this. Now, you'll see that we're going to be kind of pulling at a angle. So, we're going to be moving to higher ground. So the way that I'm going to pull the rings, it may be just a little bit angled wind needle. So you can see with what I'm doing, I'm probably going to go just a little bit more than 10 rings. And I called a great ball. I think the great ball may slide it. Yep, sure enough. So with perfect ball, good chance that I was able to get that. You got to be thinking 1.3, 1.35 per ring on that shot, because it's significantly uphill. So that's kind of more or less where I was thinking. And you can see, with a perfect ball, there's a good chance that it would have been going at the hole. But you got to keep in mind the foremost thing about that hole when you're shooting that is you're pulling to higher ground. So you have to kind of pull your needle at an angle. So keep in mind that I was almost pulling back towards the tee box just at a slight angle. And the reason for that is because I know it's going to land long because I'm pulling up to higher ground. So as the ball lands long, like if I would have just used a straight needle, for example, because you can see my ball as it was, it still came in a little bit hot and I was pulling short. So if I would have been pulling on a straight needle there, it would have been even farther behind the hole. And that's just kind of like a thing about the game. It's kind of like a glitch where you just got to understand it's going to happen because it's going to happen every time that you pull to higher ground. So keep that tip in mind. Hopefully you're able to find the fairway on that tee shot. That's going to be the critical part. So, being able to not play too statically and play different wind directions and percentages and, magnitudes that you get is going to be ideal. So good luck there, and I'll see you guys on the next one.